Hi, my name is Teresa Rich, and I'm your introductory microbiology instructor. And today I'm going to be walking through how you need to answer and fill out the case study number 1. So this is going to be an example. I'm going to answer one of the questions and show you how it's done. So first off, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pull up the case study. So the first thing that I would do in completing this assignment is I would go ahead and read through the case study, okay? Do my best to make sure I understand what's going on. I'm not going to take the time in this video to do that. And I'm going to go on down and I'm going to get to the problem solving assignment, okay? So we have a series of questions that need to be answered that relate back to the case study. And down here we have some directions, and here we have some directions, and here we have a table, okay? This is where you put your answers. So over here I have kind of reminders for what the question is. Up here we have the full question. Sometimes the full question ends up in the table, but sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to answer this second question, okay? So how would you describe Henry's blood pH in comparison with normal ranges? Okay, so I've got two columns here that relate to this. First is provide the answer to the given questions, okay? So here I'm going to put my answer, but over here, this is going to be kind of like showing your work in math, okay? I want you to put down how you thought your way through to answer the question, okay? So I'm actually going to fill in this table first, and then I'm going to take all of my mental meanderings and then cut it down to actually answering the question, okay? So how would I describe Henry's blood pH in comparison to normal ranges? Well, first thing, I'm going to go back to the case study, okay? If I remember correctly, there was a chart showing Henry's blood work, okay? So it would be good for me to take a look at that. And so I'm looking at blood pH for this question, okay? So Henry's observed levels were 7.28, and normal ranges for children under 1 year is supposed to be 7.34 to 7.44. Okay, so I'm looking at this number compared to this number. Now, as I'm looking at this, I'm going, you know what? I don't remember for sure whether, you know, what this means in relation to this. But I remember from having read chapter 2 in the textbook. Oh, okay. So I'm going to go back to the textbook and I'm going to look up pH again, just so that I can make sure I understand what this scale means. So I'm going to switch what I'm looking at. I'm going to go over to the course. I'm going to go over here to the Mastering Microbiology tab. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to scroll down to the e-text, which is where I'm going to find my information. I'm going to click on that. And it's taking forever. Okay, so here's the title page. I'm going to go over to the table of contents. Now, I could there we go. There's my little cursor. I could go down and read through chapter 2 again, but I have kind of a specific question. So I'm going to go back up here. There's a search function. If I can find it. Here we go. So I click on search And you can tell I already did this before. I'm going to look up pH scale, okay? So actually, and that, once I clicked on that, brought me to an image, okay? So I click on that and it makes it all nice and big here. And it shows the pH scale, okay? So let's get this so that we can see it better, okay? So here we've got extremely acidic, okay? We've got more hydrogen ions. And, you know, lemon juice is here, rainwater is here, pure water is 7, that's considered neutral. And then we go down further down the scale and it is more alkaline, okay? The fewer hydrogens are in there. And as I go through and you know, read more of the information, I realize that, you know, this pH scale is upside down, okay? The more hydrogens you have, the more acidic. The fewer hydrogens you have, the more alkaline, but fewer hydrogens means a bigger number. Smaller number means more hydrogen ions, okay? So I feel pretty good about this, but I know that I'm going to have to reference this information where I got it from. So I'm going to scroll up until I hit a page number. And there we go. So it's on page 42. So I'm going to remember that. All right. I think I'm ready to answer this question. So I come down here and I'm first going to type in everything that I did. Okay. So I put down, I decided to reread Henry's blood work to see how his blood pH compared to other children his age. Once there, I was not sure what the numbers meant. So I went, let's see, looks like I misspelled meant. So I went to the text and looked up pH, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and put where I found that. I'm going to do an in-text citation here so that I don't have to remember page 42 for, forever. Also, oh, you know what? I better do an in-text citation for his chart. So if I scroll up, I'm going to see that, oh, okay, all of the information in the case study came from the textbook, but page 63. So I'm going to go ahead and put an in-text citation there for the chart talking about his blood work. Okay, so Norman McKay, I'm doing APA style formatting. You can use whatever formatting works for you. Okay, and I got talking, and I'm not exactly sure that 63 is the right page number, so I'm going to scroll up. Yep, there we go. Yep, it's page 63. Okay. Okay. I found that the smaller the number, more acidic. Larger the number, more alkaline. And the pH of 7 is considered neutral. Okay. You know what I'm thinking? Because all of this information goes in with this. I'm going to move my in-text citation. So I'm just going to cut that and I'm going to put it here. Okay. Because, you know, all of this information came from page 42. Okay. And I want to make sure I remember that. Okay. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to grab Henry's pH numbers. Okay, so I'm going to copy that from his chart. And I'm going to come back down here to the table and put Henry's blood pH is, and I'm going to just paste that in there. And then I'm going to put normal range for children is, and rather than trying to remember what the normal range is, I'm just going to copy this and paste it. Okay, so I got all of this from page 63 from the actual case study. So I'm going to copy that because it's different than what I found on page 42. As pH is a smaller number than the normal range. Henry's blood is acidic. Okay. So you can see I wrote down all of my thought process, what I did to arrive at the answer. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put the actual answer. Okay. Which is Henry's blood is acidic. Okay. Henry's blood is acidic. And then I'm going to put another in-text citation. Okay. Just to be clear, we want to give credit where credit is due. Okay. We want to give credit to the folks who supplied the information for me to be able to answer the question. So I'm going to put Norman. Okay. Pages 43. And nope, it's not 43. It is 42. 42 and 63. So I have answered that question. Woohoo! So what I need to do though is down here, you'll notice that I have table references. Okay. So everything that you have an in-text citation for up here in the table, I want a full reference down here, like what we did for the case study. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the easy route and I'm going to copy this because I got it from here and I'm going to move things around to make it fit with APA style. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to paste, and in APA, the name of the author goes first. So I'm going to move it over here, and you need to have the last name first. So I'm going to do this. Okay. And because I included the page numbers in the in-text citation, I don't need it down here. So I have my full reference, okay, for that match up with my in-text citations. So later on, if I wanted to, I could go back and find exactly where I found all of this information that led me to this conclusion, okay? So these are called in-text citations. They're very short. They're tags that relate down to the full reference at the bottom, okay? So hopefully this gives you an idea of what we want in this column and what we want in this column. I'm also going to have No. So I will post this, okay, so that you can have a physical copy of my example, okay? But before I go, I want to talk about this evaluate, okay? So once you go through and answer the questions in the table, okay, we give you a problem that we want you to think your way through, okay? And you're not going to find it in the case study. You're not going to find the answer necessarily in the textbook, okay? You can do some research, and I'll want some in-text citations and a full reference at the bottom in the table references. But in this case, okay, once you go through the case study and you look back at your answers, and I want you to think up a way that you could cure Henry's condition, okay? So I want you to choose one of the following ways, okay? Either drug treatment or genetic engineering, okay? So you pick one and you kind of think about, you know, what kind of drug would help cure Henry, okay? Or with genetic engineering, you know, how could that help cure poor little Henry, okay? So you would put your answer here, okay, with in-text citations and full references. Okay, so I'm going to stop share. So that's an example on how to work through the case study. This first one's going to be kind of hard. It's the first time that you've done this particular assignment with me. We're going to have a second case study that's a practice before we get to the signature assignment, which is the real big case study that I want you to work on. So I've given you an example. If you have any questions, please email me, okay, or come to my office hours. I'm happy to bounce ideas, you know, around with you and explain what exactly I mean. And then also, after the assignment due date, I'm going to have full answers pop up, so that you can look through and you can go, oh, that's what Teresa was going for, okay? And for the actual answers, I'm providing answers for both drug treatment and genetic engineering. You don't have to do that, just do one, okay? And then as I grade your case study, I'm going to highlight areas that were problems in your answers, and then it'll tie in with the grading rubric. So I'm not going to put in extensive answers of, you got this wrong because, or this was incomplete because. Sorry, I just don't have that much time. I want to hurry and get the answer to your case studies graded so that you know how you need to improve for the next one, okay? But if you have questions about specifically what I meant, once again, email me, come to my Zoom office hours, and I'd be happy to go over it with you. Okay, and hopefully you have a lot of fun answering these case studies. It's a good way to apply what you're learning, and we try to make them real world situations. In fact, oftentimes we've pulled these from actual clinical situations.